Hey, Jake.
Hey,
Killer show last night, buddy.
was it?
Gypsum, Colorado. I love you, Gypsum. Over 100 people came out. Capacity record. Talk to the venue after the show. We're going to add 10 more seats next time. We're going for 100 and double digits next time. Renan Hirschberg coming in hot on March 12th. I think that's
Yep.
a Thursday. And last night we had Eagle Wit. It's been on HBO, Comedy Central. Wild and Out, very funny, very dirty,
Yeah.
very controversial, and Gypsum loved them. I love Gypsum. It's a good like working
Yeah.
class kind of place. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but rich people don't laugh quite
Mm,
as well as
no, they
I don't know
should.
what that is. I don't know if they're like vocal cords, it's from the fancy coffee or I don't know what's going on there. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're a little more reserved, a little more contained. But Gypsum was fun and super smooth. I've really beat them into submission. We've talked about this before,
Yes.
how I can be bad cop when
Yeah.
it's time to get set up for the comedy show because I really care about people being, packed in and no empty seats. And we used every single seat last night. Came down,
Wow.
we sold some standing room only seats. And then when the way I sold the standing room tickets was you stand in a special area, and then about 10 minutes into the show, if there are any seats available, we'll help you get seats.
Mm,
We were able to I had to like move some seats. So basically I go up and host for 7 to 10 minutes, whatever. Then
yeah.
I get off stage and I go around and I look for the empty chairs and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
pull them out, put them in the back, and we got everybody a seat and everybody was happy. We also had, I think we talked about this before, Talon Saucerman, who you don't know, and I haven't worked with before, but incredibly funny,
Mm,
like super funny. He's out of Denver, but he started in South Dakota. We're zooming
yeah.
in here. See if we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. You're taking us a ride on your lap there.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. We're gonna get a sip of hot cocoa, and I got a show tonight in Frisco, Colorado. Ticket
Yep.
sales are, I'd like them to be a little better, but they're pretty good, and should be fun. That's a nice venue because I don't have to set up the sound. It's like
Mm,
a music place already. I don't know what else we want to talk about. I did a trip to Texas. I went
that's
to
right.
Texas,
Yeah.
and
How
so
long were you in Texas?
I landed in Dallas on a Thursday,
Yeah.
and Tim Ketchersid picked me up and drove me to Haskell. I guess we kind of talked about this on the last episode. I was on the drive, but I'm
Yep.
not sure we really discussed where I was headed or what was going on. But and definitely not what happened once we got there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Middle of nowhere, Texas, 3 hours west. I probably talked to 10 people over the weekend who said, where was this event? And I said, Haskell, Texas. And they said, where? These are people who
Yeah.
have lived in Dallas their whole life.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
never heard of Haskell, Texas. There was over 100 people at the show. I thought it was a fundraiser for a hospital. And in my head, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a sad chemo ward in the hospital, just not great. And people just really struggling. And then we got there and it was like people in $1,000 cowboy hats and
Yeah.
it was in an event center and it was super
How
fun.
can you tell a $1,000 cowboy hat?
It's mostly the other clothes they're
Oh,
wearing. But I spent enough time in Vail. What's the
yeah.
name? Kimosabi. Is it shout out to Kimosabi? They should sponsor us. They sell like $3,000 cowboy hats
No
in Vail
way.
Village. Yeah, yeah. They're
I've
very
never
expensive.
seen I have a Pendleton, not cowboy hat, but a broad brim that I wear when it's raining. So
Okay.
instead of having an umbrella, I have like a wool hat.
Broad brim. I've never heard that before.
Broad brim.
A
Yes.
broad brim. Did you say
Yes.
that as one word?
Yeah, I think so.
They
So
run together. Broad brim.
I wrote my dissertation on a guy named Charles Spurgeon. There's a bunch of Charles Spurgeon stuff right up there on my shelf,
Okay.
including like a bobblehead and some other stuff. And he, one of the biographies about him, there's probably 10, 15 biographies about this one man. And
Okay.
one of them is called Shadow of the Broad Brim. And he's wearing a hat just like this. And So it's like, oh, I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm into broad brims. So
That's so funny. You just almost caused me to die from joking. That's hilarious.
yeah.
It sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean 8.
Yep. Broad brim, you know?
Incredible.
So, but I don't think it was not even near $1,000. I think it was probably it's a nice hat though. It's probably over $100 hat. And
Okay.
it's
Yeah, that's
one of those
solid.
things. I don't know if you ever like I buy a lot of cheap things. I know you buy a lot of cheap things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you buy a lot of, every once in a while you get like a good item
Yeah.
and it lasts forever. This is that item for me. It's
Yeah,
been
I love that.
years.
I love that. I still have, like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a panic attack about a trash can I once bought that
Yeah.
I wanna say was $600. And it just, like, it broke it crushed me. I still have the trash can. I've had it for, like, 30 years. It's the best investment I ever made. It's incredible. It's, so
Okay.
sometimes those expensive things, they're worth it, you
I'm
know?
gonna have to disagree on a $600 trash can. I'm
Yeah,
talking about
well
like an $80 hat. $600
yeah,
trash
I can't
can.
remember. Let me see if I
Oh
can
my
Google.
goodness.
I'm gonna Google how much it is. I'm not unless they're gonna sponsor us, I'm not gonna tell you the brand, but, let's see if I
I
can
didn't
find
know that a
it.
600.
In my
You,
head now, you know what? It might have been more like 2 to 300.
okay,
It's probably 200,
I
and it
mean,
just in my head, it felt like 600 at the time.
you're at least lowering my blood pressure there. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
how
I
talk
was so
about
upset.
throwing away money. I mean, you're on a trash can. But I'm
Yeah.
glad that it's a good product.
It's a
I'm
great
excited.
product. It actually broke, like, maybe, like, 15 years after I purchased it, and the company took care of it. I
Wow.
called them up, they sent me a new fancy spring. It's got this, like, fancy, like, like, opens and then it like, soft closes, like a soft close toilet lid, and, the spring contraption or whatever broke, and I called them up, I didn't have a receipt, I didn't have anything. They're just
Yeah.
like, "Give us your address, we'll send you a new spring," and
Wow.
instructions to install it. Incredible.
Wow. So I
Incredible.
guess they factor that into the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that happens with a lot, like, Patagonia is kinda like that. Have we talked about this on the podcast?
You
The
talked about
Patagonia?
your not Patagonia, but you talked about
Okay.
your stage. They did something similar with your
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, that's on the way. They just shipped it. I just got the tracking number yesterday for the they're sending me just the parts to fix it, and
Yeah.
hopefully, it's repairable. But Patagonia, like, about a year ago, I came in with a jacket that I had got. I used to work for a ski company, and so we had, like, free, not free, but, like, we got, like, half price products from certain vendors, and so
Mhm.
I'd gotten this nice puffy, down, winter jacket from Patagonia back in probably close to last century, like a century ago, Jake. And I just worn it to pieces. It had holes in it. There's geese flying out of it.
Yeah.
It's beat to hell. And it took me about a year and a half to muster up the courage and just the time to go find a physical Patagonia location. I walked in with the thing and they said, "Okay, there's the new ones over on that rack. Just pick one out and come back." I went over to the rack. They're all $400. I grabbed one. I walked back and they're just like, "Okay, tap, 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 tap. You're good." And I got a brand new one. I
What?
have it. And in 15 years, I'll be able to bring it back to a Patagonia store. They'll give me a new one. It's
What?
incredible. Patagonia is incredible with their return policy. It's awesome.
That is unbelievable. I've never heard of anything like
Yeah,
that.
so check out Patagonia. If you ever see, you should tell your wife, if she ever sees Patagonia at a thrift store,
Yeah.
get it immediately. And
Yeah.
then you just bring it to the Patagonia store
Yeah.
and jump through some hoops, but you can
Yeah.
probably get a replacement
Do they
part.
have jackets that come in like 4XL?
I would think so. You can
Oh,
check
no.
online. You can
Yeah.
buy stuff online.
Yeah.
They probably don't have Santa Claus suits,
They don't
unfortunately.
have yeah, maybe not Santa Claus, but
There we go. I gotcha. I gotcha with
there you
that.
go.
So anyways, Haskell, Texas. So I show up, there's 100 people there, 120 maybe. We got this beautiful green room, really nice, space. I get the what I call the feature privilege. I'm doing
Yes.
15 to 20 minutes.
Yep.
It's so easy. You kind of introduced me to this concept. And
Yep.
you know what's fascinating is you're going to love this, Jake. This is getting very meta for our Mark and Jake heads. Tim
Yep.
brought me along as his opener because of the Mark and Jake Try to Make It podcast. He listened to an early podcast episode where I was talking about how you should always have an opener. Even if it hurts your finances, it makes the show much better for the headliner. And after the show, he couldn't stop singing the praises about how it was a difficult room. People were eating, they're not paying attention. It was so much easier for him because I did my 15 to 20. And it was.
And what's really exciting is he could have chosen either of us, and he chose you. So,
well, I was already booked to do a show the next night with him. So, it was we just added on an extra day.
Yeah.
But, so anyways, I do the show. I'm trying to think anything interesting happened on stage. I did one of my like PG-13 jokes, barely PG-13, but they loved it. It was supposed to be clean, but like I could kind of feel them. It felt like they would like it. I'll tell a story later where that did not go well.
Yeah.
I did the same joke and it did not go well, but they were super nice. And so here's the secret. This is why Haskell, Texas has a little bit of money. Yeah. You're going to be prepared for this. If you were shocked by a $600 trash can, in the county, a few miles away, they are currently under construction on I think $15 billion data center for Google.
Ooh.
I don't think I'm supposed to say. The construction company was there and they're like, well, we can't really tell you who we're making it for, but look at that table there. And there were 2 tables at Google.
Yeah.
People right there. And
wow,
man, they don't miss on their food in Texas, buddy. Like all weekend, I had the best guacamole, but they had this shoot. What are cuts of red meat that you can get? It's not prime rib. What else is there?
There's filet mignon.
It's not filet mignon, but it looks kind of like filet. It's like it's like slices. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. I remember I texted somebody about it. Yeah, because it was that good. Anyways, I ate it off a paper plate. It was some part of a cow, and it was delicious. Sorry to our vegan listeners. But it was unbelievable. I wasn't even really hungry because we ate along the way.
Yeah.
By the way, I can tell you now because I'm not in the car with Tim anymore. Tim, if you're hearing this, apologies. That Mexican place you brought me to was dog sh. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was worse than old Casa Bonita.
Oh my goodness!
I was like, just bring me somewhere local. Somewhere I can't get. And he brings me to some chain restaurant. He's like, if we go any farther, there's not going to be anything because we're going nowhere.
Because Tim might listen to this, which is fun. But we had a little moment in the Patreon version with Tim, and I felt bad about it for like the next 3 days, and so because I asked him if how often he wears a hat on stage, and I've seen him perform with a hat on. I think he's funny. And I like the look of the hat.
Yeah, he wore it.
Did he wear it?
Quite a broad brim, but
no, it was a pork pie hat. I like it. I like the look. And he answered it as if like, "Oh, I'm never going to wear it again." Like, I'm glad to hear that he wore the hat because I think it's a fun look. And I mean, I like the idea. A lot of guys wear hats on stage. I have literally never worn a hat on stage. And it's just
I've worn one a couple times, a ball cap. It kind of stinks when it's not great from a lighting perspective.
Yeah, but the pork pie hat I think fits his persona and fits his vibe, and it's fun and old fashionedy, and I think it just fits. So I'm glad to hear that he I thought I was like, did I just ruin his look for him by asking him one really innocent question?
Yeah, no, that was good. And everybody tune into the Patreon. I'm going to talk about some financial stuff from the weekend that's going to be pretty juicy. And it's beef tenderloin. Ooh. What's the difference between beef tenderloin and filet mignon? Do you know?
Yeah.
I think it's like the log because you can get pork tenderloin and
different part of the cow. I mean, have you seen those like little cartoons where it's like this part, here's the sirloin, here's the ribeye.
Yeah. Like a drawing.
A little drawing of where all the parts of the
I try not to look. I try not to
Yeah,
know.
I don't know how much I wanna really picture that.
Yeah, I don't wanna know. I have a joke on stage about, pigs, and
Yeah.
then, I think I did it there. No, I think there I so it's when I tell the joke, sometimes it goes really well, sometimes it doesn't go well, sometimes it's mixed, and you have to know something about the anatomy of pigs to get it, and then so, when it goes really well, I'll be like, "Oh, a lot of farm people here," and people, will laugh because 'cause they maybe grew up on a farm or they spent time at a farm, and that's why they really enjoyed the joke, but then when people don't get it, I usually don't do this, but when it goes well, I'll make fun of rooms where it doesn't go well, and
Mm,
I'll say, sometimes I do that joke and nobody gets it because the only thing they know about pig is getting it at the grocery store wrapped in plastic.
mm.
That's kind of the way I generally lead my meat eating life. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I get the meat. I try not to think about it the whole
Mhm.
process. So
Yeah.
that got dark for a second. Let's
Well,
get
hey,
back.
I mean, it's all good. It's all good.
Anyways, the beef tenderloin in Texas did not miss. Really appreciated it. And shout out to the Haskell hospital system that we raised some money for.
Yeah.
And then took the 3-hour drive back to Dallas. And then Friday night, we did a clean comedy showcase at a co working space.
Ooh.
We've talked about this before, haven't we? Doing shows at
Co-working
co
spaces?
working. I don't know.
I I've done one and it didn't go great, but no, I don't think I've talked about co-working spaces.
This one was terrific. Well,
Mm,
I'm a big advocate for this. We've talked about breakfast places
yeah.
being a good place to pop up a comedy show. Co-working spaces tend to have a meeting area where
Yep.
there's a lot of chairs. This one
Yep.
actually had a stage and a
Yeah.
spotlight and a
Yeah.
good sound system.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And I don't think this one did, which is surprising. A lot of co-working spaces actually have alcohol.
Yeah.
It's free. So, and in the co-working space, they're trying to sell membership, so they don't mind putting on comedy shows.
Mm.
And you really got me with that broad brim, legend of the
Shadow of the Broad Brim.
shadow. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Everybody, check that out on DVD. Uh, Pirates of the Caribbean 9.5.
Shadow of the
Shadow of the Broad Brim. Sounds more like Dick Tracy. Maybe like Dick
Yeah,
Tracy 2, Shadow
yeah,
of the Broad Brim. What kind
yeah.
is that a broad brim? What does he wear?
Dick Tracy? Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I mean,
So
might be just a straight fedora.
So I,
Um,
I got a question for you.
yeah.
So here's something I observed at this clean comedy showcase.
Mhm.
Reggie French, very funny comic. Uh, you've seen an athlete about to go into they're about to I want to say perform, but that's not it. What do athletes do? They compete. They're gonna go
Compete.
compete and they cross their chest and point at the sky. You've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
What would you call that? It's not like a prayer exactly, but
No, I mean, sometimes they're doing the sign of the cross. Sometimes they're, I don't know what it would be. That's interesting. But I know exactly, like
you
this.
you know the action I'm
Upper,
talking about. It's
sometimes the double fingers up, is what they're
we'll
doing.
call it a speedy prayer. It's like a quick ask. Make my performance amazing today,
Yeah, yeah.
benevolent overseer. Reggie French. I've never seen. I've been to 1,000 comedy shows. I've never seen this. As he is turning the corner to go through the audience to get onto stage, he does the quick prayer or whatever you want to call it. Points to the ceiling, crosses his chest, and then goes on to stage. Have you ever seen that? Do you do
I've
that?
never seen, no, I don't do that. So that's a Catholic thing. So I would never, I've never seriously made the sign of the cross. I mean, I think it's left, right, down, up, or
Okay.
up, down, up. I don't know. I've never done
You
it.
know,
That's a Catholic thing.
you've
That's
never
not.
seen that. So that was kind of a new thing for me. New thing. And then now that I think about it, in his act, he talked about being either a collegiate or a pretty high level high school
Mm,
athlete.
yeah,
So maybe it's like a habit from his
yeah,
athletic days. But I've never seen that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
yeah. Do you have any habit? Any I'll tell you mine. Some
Okay.
pre-show habits. I I hate it if I don't get the opportunity. So I really like to write a set list, even if I don't stick to it. I just want to write the set list. I put numbers next to all of the bits and just write the set list down. And then right before I go on stage, I like to look through it. And it's like I know my bits, and I could go up there right now and just do it.
Yeah.
But I still
You go an
like
hour and a half, do you think?
maybe.
Like I mean, right this second, no prep. I know you
No,
could do it with prep.
yeah. Right this second, no prep, all material.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say
An
I
hour and a
couldn't.
half. I don't think I can do it. An
Yeah.
hour and a half. But
Could you
so
do 45? Like no problem.
yeah, I can do 45. No
I'm
problem.
not sure. I would need like 1 minute.
Yeah,
Do
1
45.
minute would be nicer, but I have mine in my mind are in different categories,
Yeah.
and I just go through this chunk and then this chunk and then
Yeah.
this chunk and then this
Now,
chunk.
if I had done an hour in the last 2 days, I
Yeah.
could do it with zero,
Yeah.
whatever. But I generally need like 1 minute to just look to just remind myself, oh yeah, this, then the big chunks.
Yeah.
Um,
But I will look. I'll have like my little notebook, and I'll have my set list in it, and I'll be looking at it like pretty close to the stage, And
Yeah.
so nobody's supposed to be looking at me because I'm not on stage yet. But
Right.
It happened. And one time it happened to a guy's like, you got this, you got this. I'm like, yeah, I know. This is just part of the ritual. Yeah. This is not nervousness.
Yeah.
This is just like, I like doing it.
Do you get nervous ever going on stage?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Somebody
I
asked
mean,
me just yesterday if I get nervous, and I was like, I have an example. I'm going to tell another story where I did get nervous.
yeah.
But it's pretty rare.
Every once in a while I'll get nervous to hit my time and to usually if it's short,
Mm.
if it's very short. So I did the comedy mothership in Austin, and it's 3 minutes, and I know that they're not going to be happy if I did 4.
Right.
I have to do 3. So I was not nervous about that, but I ran through it several times and got it real nice and tight. But
That's great. So let's see. We did Haskell. Then we were doing the Clean Comedy Showcase.
Yep.
I headlined that. We had the Signal to the Skies. It was a good show. So this is interesting. So Thursday, no. Friday, my dad flies in. My parents have rarely seen me do comedy, and he got the whole backstage experience. I did one show Friday night where I headlined. Saturday night, I did 2 shows. I was like kind of standby guest spot at the biggest comedy club in Dallas, Hyenas. And then I ended up getting on stage to open for Mikey Winfield. And he got to see that. And he got to meet Mikey Winfield. And Mikey Winfield had his dad. And so we went into the green room. We took a picture together, all 4 of us. That was fun. And then and I had to race across town to a Don't Tell and walked in right during the host set, and then did a show and packed up the chairs, and he got to see the whole experience. And I was reflecting on like what that meant to me, and I think the big take home message is like I was comfortable. 3 years ago, I wasn't good enough, I would say, to bring somebody I care about to a bunch of my shows, and I wouldn't have trusted. Even then, like some of the jokes are about my parents. So every time I would like get nervous because, and not all of them are factually accurate.
Yeah.
So, and by the time he'd heard the jokes 3 times, you don't want people to see you do your act over and over again. But I was very confident and felt good about what was going on. And I was really, I was happy to be in that place. It felt good. So,
yeah, my dad is one of these guys who throughout my whole life has really liked attending things. That's his thing. He likes to attend. If there's something that he can attend, he's going to attend it. He does it with my brothers, with the grandkids, my nieces, nephews. If there's something to attend, he's going to attend it. So I don't know how he's gone to so many basketball games, so many football games, so many everything. I mean, he's been to so much. And when I started doing comedy, he started going, and so he came out. He went to one of your shows in Frisco, where you're going to be tonight.
Oh yeah,
he was on the front row. I just was looking at the pictures recently that you sent about those, and he's right there, right in the front row. And he was telling me that when we were in Frisco, he's like, I think I have seen your act more times than any other person. And we kind of we did a few calculations. My wife might beat him, but
Okay.
it's not a runaway. It's not runaway. It's kind of close
Right.
between him and my wife. So the third place would go to my friend who lives in Nashville, who's seen a lot of my stuff. But yeah, so it's interesting. My mom came to a super early open mic at Scruffy Murphy's.
Okay.
Super early. I did not invite her, but I'm like, I'm into this new hobby.
You did not invite her, but she was at the bar already.
No, she was at the bar. I was like,
for anybody that knows Scruffy Murphy's, that's exceptionally funny.
Yeah. And so I was,
Mom, come on. We told you, go to a meeting.
We were, having some sort of family get together, and I was like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go hit a mic. I might come back afterwards, but I'm just going to do this real quick. And that's kind of how I got super into comedy when I got into it, Yeah. And so I go, and she's like, I want to come. I'm like, all right. So she comes to this open mic. So I'm not going to do well at this open mic. And there are 5 audience members, a bunch of like degenerate comics in the back. And she gets singled out probably 8 or 9 times.
Oh, brutal.
Just all the time. And like with really like, gross. Hey, do you guys do this incredibly invasive question? Like what? And takes it, just doesn't laugh at it because it's not funny because they're open micers, and they get mad at her not laughing at it, and it wasn't funny. That's why nobody's laughing at it, man. You're making some goobers in the back laugh just because you made the world so uncomfortable for this person. But yeah, that was one of those things. She did not go to another open mic. Never has been.
I'd never bring somebody.
I didn't want her to, but she's like, I'm going.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm going. I've got.
So you're asking about rituals.
Yeah.
I don't really. I think just by like, I can't have rituals because 50 to 75% of my shows I'm running, and half of those there's some emergency within 2 minutes of me going on stage. And I used to make a big deal out of changing my shoes. So I'd change into my stage shoes, and I've kind of fallen off that. I don't know when that happened. Probably around whenever I stopped getting nervous. I just like, I used to think that if I didn't have my stage shoes on, I'd have a bad set. And it was like 100% hit rate. If I was in the middle of my set, my host set, and I looked down and I realized I forgot to change into my stage shoes, I was very likely having a bad set. And the reason was not because of the shoes. The reason was whatever reason prevented me from putting on my shoes.
Yes.
If I didn't have 90 seconds to change my shoes before I went on stage, I also didn't have any time to think about my set. There's some awful problem happening with the ticketing or the seating or the venue. But yeah, I don't really have, when I do longer sets, I like to have a set list, and I'll write it on a note card and just have it in my pocket. It's like a little bit of a security blanket. If I need to, I can always pull it out, take a sip of water, take a peek at it. I definitely like to have a timer. I have this little, you've been to my shows. The shows I run, I never light the comics. There's a big like CrossFit timer that counts up from 0 that I control with a remote control. And I reset it before every comic set. And so I've gotten kind of addicted to using the timer to manage my sets. And so when I go and do other people's shows where they don't have timers, I have a little pocket timer. It's like the size of a cell phone, and it counts up from 0. And I've even started bringing it to Comedy Works, and I put it on the stool. And I have that reminds me of a funny story. So in Dallas, I go to Hyenas, and I know Mikey Winfield, who's the headliner, and that was a funny, what was that?
I I looked like my eye was squinty in like some weird way. I was like, "What's going on with my eye?" Like a
That
squint eye.
was hilarious.
Yeah. It's like the glare on my glasses and make it look like I had like this weird squinty eye.
Uh, so Mikey Winfield's headlining. I hit him up, said, "Hey, I'd love to do a guest spot if there's any time or whatever." He's like, "We'll see what happens. Come on over." And most indications were that I wasn't going to get any stage time, but it was still going to be fun to go to the club. And they were so nice. Shout out to all the staff. What a professionally run club. People remembered me from the last time I was there for a couple nights, maybe about a year ago. And some of them remembered me, some of them didn't. And I was just, when you're at a comedy club, I'm just a nice person in general, I think. But I was just, you could tell, like I introduced myself and shook the hands of every wait staff person who was just, they were just waiting for people to show up. We were like the first people in the showroom and nobody came for like 20 minutes. So I said hi to them and they were like kind of shocked that I was so nice. And I wasn't that nice, Jake. All I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
was say like, "Hi, my name is Mark. What's your name? Are you
yeah,
from Dallas?" Just like basic small talk.
yeah.
And I really did care. I was interested and I had to kill the time anyways. But so anyways, I got time. Kind of a bummer / good thing. I was planning to get a 5-minute tape. We've talked about this before. I wanted to get a 5-minute tape. I had prepared a 5-minute set. We get there. Mike and Winfield says, "Why don't you do 7?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Sounds good." He's the boss. I'm going to do whatever he says. But in my head, I'm like, crap. Now I got to make a 7-minute set, which is no problem. But I'm also going to, and in my head, I'm like, should I do the 5 and like pretend to say goodnight and then do 2 or, or what? And then it turned out like the host ate it and the crowd wasn't like super hot.
Ah,
And so I was like, who cares? That I'm not going to get my 5-minute tape here anyways. And I had a fun set, but I was nervous and I could feel it on stage. I kind of
mm,
forgot what that feeling was like. It wasn't just before I went up. It was like on stage, I was nervous. And part of that was like not knowing until 20 minutes before I went on that I was actually going to get on.
yeah.
And part of it was that it's just a big comedy club and I wanted to do well for Mike and do well for the club. And there were a lot of factors that I was definitely, I was nervous. I had like butterflies but here's the funny thing that happened. So I have my timer and I have my phone that records. And so I put those on a stool, but the host hadn't set up the stage. So that from the night before, the stool was in like a back corner of the stage, which is pretty big. So I
Yeah.
came up, shook the host's hand, and had to like walk 4 paces to pick up the stool and 4 paces back and, set the stool down. And that kind of ruined the momentum of,
Yeah.
make some noise for. And so there's a note on the stool, and I know it's from last night or something. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
one of the survey, like they have these little pieces of paper where you can say like, "Did you have a good time? Can you give us your email address? You'll get free tickets, whatever." But it's flipped over and somebody had written something in pencil. I ignore it. I put down the phone and the timer. I do my 7 minutes. I say goodnight. The host comes up. He shakes my hand. I like go off stage, go through the green room, go back into the showroom. That's probably 20 seconds. He's still looking at the note. He thinks I left him a note
Huh.
or there's some important information on his
Yeah.
note. Because to
Yeah.
him, this stool just magically appeared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he brings up the next comic and then he comes into the showroom and hey, you left this on a thing. I'm like, that's not mine, dude. That's from last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I tried to figure out what the note said, and it was like gibberish. It
Yeah.
wasn't even, I'm not even sure it was English.
Yeah.
I felt a little bad for him that he was trying to decipher that note. And
Yeah, man.
man.
I had a fun show last night as well, and
Okay.
I was going to go up to the Wit, which is in Indianapolis. That was the plan.
Two
So I
T's?
know with one T.
Okay.
It's Comedy Sports Indianapolis has a venue, and they do some stand up, but mostly they do improv and comedy sports and whatever. And it's a World Series of Comedy satellite
Oh, okay.
this year, and I would And so I'm like, okay, I've gone up there before. I saw Tim up there one time. He was wearing a hat, and and so that was the plan. They have their open mic. I got nothing else to do on the Thursday. It's whatever it is. And in the middle of the day, the booker at the Funny Bone in Cincinnati texts me out of the blue. And I think we've talked about this. Like their process of getting past is a little arduous. And it took a long time. You have to like get on the open mic, which they only have like once every 2 months. You have to do well enough on that to be invited to the showcase. And you have to do well enough at the showcase to get past, right? That's the thing. And to sign up to the open mic at the Funny Bone, you have to basically be fast. He's like, it's open and it will fill up in 1 minute. Like you have to set a timer. You have got to go. And so the most recent time I did it, I was actually driving and didn't have time to pull over. My wife is in the passenger seat, and I just did it real quick to sign up for it. So got that whole thing. I've done the first showcase. The booker wasn't there, so the process completely fell apart. I got able to do a second showcase. The booker passed, and so I'm like, hey, great, I'm past this club. That's fantastic. Not seeing any work from it though. So I was like, well, who cares if you're passed if you don't get any work from it, right? So he contacts me kind of in the middle of the day. He's like, hey, can you come tonight? And I'd already kind of planned on driving 2 hours. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go to Cincinnati instead of Indianapolis.
Yeah, and get paid.
Get paid. So I went up there, super fun. The headliner, a guy named Tumua, and he's a Hawaiian guy. He talks about being Hawaiian quite a bit. Very nice man, unbelievably nice man.
Okay.
Pretty funny too. I really like him. And does probably about half. I talked to him a little bit. He says he does about half his show is crowd work, about half his show is material.
Okay.
But first of all, I did not realize that a relatively niche comedian who is doing Hawaiian stuff, right? A lot of the jokes are inside jokes. If you're Hawaiian, they're hilarious. Okay. If you're not Hawaiian, I don't understand it. I don't know. So
is the audience predominantly Hawaiian?
Yeah, in Cincinnati.
Okay, cool.
Cincinnati. There's like this Hawaiian audience in the middle of Cincinnati. And so they're loving it. So it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, just because I don't get it doesn't mean it's not funny. It's definitely funny. They're laughing. They're into it. But he's very, very nice man. And I was surprised about that, which is an interesting thing. Because
how did you do? Were you relatable to that audience?
Yeah, I was more relatable than than the booker thought I was going to be. I'll say it that way. Yeah, I thought I had a pretty good set. There was parts where they really liked it. I ended well. I felt like in the middle I had a little bit of a dip.
Okay.
Because the front half of my set I did a little bit. It wasn't real crowd work. It was kind of this fake crowd work.
Sure.
With some sort of interaction, and they love that because that's who they're here for. It's crowd interaction guy. And then in the middle, I was just doing straight material, and then I've got a good closer, and the closer crushed. But the booker comes, he's like, "Hey man, how'd you think you did? Let me tell you this. I thought you did really well," which is nice to let me off the hook immediately.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and he was telling me how sometimes these he's using a shorthand like this. Tumua is a real comedian. He's been a comedian, a stand-up comedian for 9 years. He is a strong comedian, but he's also TikTok famous, right? And so sometimes sometimes these TikTok guys, that's what the booker is saying.
Yep.
Will come and will have really good openers, and the openers will just eat it for the whole time they're on stage. Then the TikTok guy will come on, fart into the microphone. The place goes wild, and so he actually named a couple of locals who are really good. And I'm like, wow, they're doing bad, and so he was impressed that I did well with not my audience, and I was excited about that as well. But the tricky thing, the weird thing was the most fascinating, maybe not weird, but like most fascinating part of this show was this dude brought a crew. It was only 2 guys, but brought a crew. And so the one guy was the DJ.
Oh, fun.
Brought a DJ, did a big musical, incorporation stuff towards the end of his act. So the DJ was totally necessary. And then he brought a videographer. And I was blown away about the videography that was going on in this place on this was a Thursday in Cincinnati. And the guy's got a handheld, DSLR with the shotgun mic and whatever. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
There's also like these Osmo mics on either side, or video cameras on either side of the stage that are set up on tripods. There's 2 Zoom recorders on the stage. There's like a big one in the back, and I think there's another one over to the side. There was like a whole production.
Incredible.
Going on.
That's how you get TikTok famous, I guess.
I was thinking that same. I was like, dude, like crowd work does well online, but crowd work that's shot well, and by shot well we mean you go back and forth to the subject.
You got video of the audience member.
And that's exactly what it's doing. And I think we talked about it. Pete Lee, who does the thing where he's holding the GoPro basically and pointing, like he's the videographer. He's like pointing it at the subject, which I think is fun too. I'm into all of it. I like crowd work and I like the videography aspect of it. So, but I've never seen a production like that.
Well, someday when we make it, Jake, we'll have videographers.
I will have a videographer before this conversation is over.
What does that mean? You're going to hold the camera, or you're just being silly?
No, I think it'd be fun. I like the idea of producing a show so that I can video the audience and do this sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I do some of that stuff. Like at Vail Comedy Festival, we have 3 cameras recording most of the shows, and multiple microphones. I have a story I want to tell you about an Amazon purchase, but first I want to put a bow on my time at the Hyenas in Dallas.
Okay.
So host does whatever. I do good. Feature does good as well. The crowd is just kind of like, I've been there before when it's hotter. It seems like, I don't know how big that room is, but maybe it's like 60 to 70% full, but I've seen it like 90% full and it's like electric. So I don't know where that barrier is, but they bring Mikey Winfield on stage. And I'm already late to get to my Don't Tell, but I wanted my dad to see Mikey Winfield. So we watched like the first 5 minutes of his act. And I'm telling you, within 45 seconds, I mean, I might as well not even be a comedian.
Yeah.
Like the difference between Mike and the 3 comedians that preceded him was embarrassing to the 3 comedians that preceded him.
Yeah.
I mean, it was night and day. It was like just a completely different experience. He was so much better than us. It was unbelievable. He is so funny. So everybody check out Mikey Winfield. He's awesome. And the really depressing thing is he didn't sell out that show. And I'm not trying to cast shade about his ability to draw, but I had some friends from Dallas who came to the show and I had to leave, but they told me the next day that he annihilated. He was like the best comedian they've ever seen. And they go to lots of comedy shows, big theater shows. And I was like, yeah, isn't it crazy that he couldn't fill that room? And they were like, I didn't even think about that, but that is absurd. Like he's so good. Why is the room not full? And
well, I mean, we would say the same thing. I said the exact same thing about Derrick Stroup. Last time he came through Louisville or he was in Lexington, actually. I went up to Lexington. He didn't sell out. and so I was able to get a spot in the back. Now it was close to sold out. It wasn't empty by any means, but it was not sold out. And I was surprised because I know how incredibly good he is, and he did the exact same thing. The host did okay, the feature did good, and he made them both look like children and just murdered so hard that I'm sitting in the back like, do I need to change everything about myself in order to be as good as this guy? He is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
And then the he's coming back to Lexington in May, maybe. I think it's in May.
Let me guess the punchline here. Every show
Yeah.
sold out already.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the show.
Way to go, Derrick. We're so proud of you, buddy. That's so awesome.
And I was talking to the owner or the booker at the Funny Bone yesterday, because he did the whole thing of like, hey, you came in, you helped me in a pinch. Let me do a favor for you. If there's anybody that's coming through that you like and you want to work with, let me know. And my first was like, is Derrick coming through? And he's like, no, he came through last year and he sold the place out. And I'm thinking, if you sell, because the one last night was not sold out.
400 or something.
Oh my goodness, you're sold out. We get at the Funny Bone.
Yeah, Derrick is absolutely killing it. Okay, so along the videography thing, when I'm at that gig in Haskell with all the money, they had a videographer. They paid a guy, and he's wandering around with a gimbal. Do you know what a gimbal is?
I do know what a gimbal is.
You see them at like the Super Bowl. They're those are big ones. They're running around with the cameras, but the camera stays in one position, no matter even if they're sprinting. It's got it's kind of like a Segway. If people know what that is, like a scooter, it's got all the gyroscopes and stuff inside of it. And so I talked his ear off and asked him like, what brand is it? What, can I use it? Can you show me how it works? And so I resolved to buy one. They're kind of, this is funny. The one I bought was exactly $600.
There you go.
So full circle to $600. So I buy this $600 DJI RS4 on Amazon, and I buy it while I'm in Dallas, and I bought it so it would arrive on Tuesday, and I have a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday run. And I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to have it, and I'm going to wander around and get better video clips with this gimbal. Shows up, open the box, cardboard box. Inside, there's a plastic wrap black case. So I bought like the not just the gimbal, but like the package. So it comes in a kit. Maybe it has an extra battery. It's got, I don't know, some accessories. Open up the black case, which I immediately kind of clock is scuffed. It's like not brand new. It doesn't seem brand new. I open up the thing. This thing is definitely not brand new. It's like scratched up, etc. And I'm like, well, who cares? Maybe somebody returned it. And I got their return as long as it works. So I plug it in to charge it up, and it's already got. And I look at it. I'm like, I wonder if it like what the battery thing. And the battery level is like 46%. Yeah, just kind of random. I don't know what I expected, but 46. So, anyways, I charged all the way, and then I let it charge overnight, I think. And the next morning, I go to like try and attach a camera to it. And I noticed on the side of it, it says RS3 Mini. So I had ordered an RS4, so brand new, and paid $600. And they sent me a used version of like a $200. And this is like the DJI store. This is not like eBay. It's like the Amazon page for it. So I've never had that happen where you got the completely wrong product. I have mistakenly bought the wrong product. I immediately went and checked. Did I buy the right product? Yeah, I bought the RS4. So I didn't really know what to do about that. Have you had that situation?
No, I mean I would be really scared that they wouldn't believe me.
I'm in the same boat, buddy. Yeah. I'm like, I should have had an unboxing video of this thing. Yeah. So I get into the chat. The chat's impossible. Yeah. I go to return it. There's no option to say they sent you the wrong product. But there is like a text box, and I put in the text box that I got the wrong product. And then I did a return, and I dropped it off at a Whole Foods. And, I told them I'm returning an RS4, but they are getting an RS2 Mini or whatever it was. Yeah. And I'm worried it says that it's going to take 30 days after they receive it to decide if they're going to give me the money. And then if they don't give me the money, then I got to squabble with them in the chat and crazy. Let's finish up the Dallas thing.
Okay.
And so then I raced across town, went to Deep Ellum, Texas, which is basically like Market Street in Lodo. Like it's Saturday night. It is a zoo, Jake. I'm in a rush. I got my old dad who doesn't move as quick as I do, and I'm trying to figure out parking. You'll hate this. I actually don't even know what I paid to park. I scanned a QR code, had to show some lady, got a ticket, put it on the thing. It could have been, it was probably $40. Could have been 25. I would guess between 25 and $40.
Yeah.
And I used a parking spot for an hour and a half. Like the people who were parking around me were there for the whole night. It's like 8 p.m. They're getting back to their car at 2 a.m. So I definitely overpaid. We sprint over to this jewelry store. It was one of the cooler don't tells I've done, although the sound wasn't amazing. But that's really, I mean, visually, we're in a jewelry store, which is unusual, right? It's like a high-end jewelry store, and they got all the folding chairs and no stage, little spotlight. The lighting wasn't great either. That's pretty classic for don't tells. They're typically not like well lit, or the sound isn't great. Problem with the sound was this classic thing where the speaker is behind the comedian. So the comedian thinks they're very loud because their eardrums are getting blown out. But if you're in the audience, some of the comics you could barely hear.
Yeah.
Anyways, I went at the end. I did 20. Everybody did 10s, I think, and I did 20 at the end to close it out. And it was an okay show. It was definitely not my audience. A lot younger, and they were tired. It was one of those things where I was really bummed. I knew I was doing 20, and the show was like at 85 minutes when I got up, and I could tell like they weren't moving things along, and I was like, this is gonna run long.
Yeah.
I'm not real thrilled about how this is going. And I bombed on like my initial joke. The place was called Uncommon James. And I go up and I go, I've been on ABC television, but, I also do comedy in other places like this store, which seems to be named after a discarded Roald Dahl title, which I think you understand.
Yeah.
When I tell you out of 100 people, 0 people understood it, I don't think I'm exaggerating. And then I got a good laugh on saying, okay, that's a joke about books for 3rd graders. Apparently we're not readers in this audience. We gave up in elementary school, and they kind of laughed at that. But I was really banking on, I thought Uncommon James was going to be, James and a Giant Peach. He could have been Uncommon James. Dude, terrific book. It did not.
I've read it, and it made me want to eat a peach. And then you do eat a peach, and you're like, this is terrible. I am not for eating peaches.
Oh, Jake.
Now,
I could not disagree with you more. That is the hottest take, the wrongest take I've ever heard. Peaches are amazing. Capital AMAZING. I will eat a peach at a sink because I'm making so much. I'm like a T-Rex eating a goat attached to a pole on a string. Do you know what I'm talking about? I am voracious. I am getting after that thing. Yeah. And it is amazing. And things are splattered. I got to be in the sink. It's got to be one of those big industrial like sinks next to a washing machine. I'm making a mess. I love a peach.
See, I had peaches in cans when I was a kid. My granny would give those to me. Okay. I was for it. I'm for canned peaches.
Okay.
But then the first time you eat a peach and you're like, you don't know what to expect. I had the same thing with cherries. I didn't know there was a pit. When the first time I ate a cherry, I'm like, what is wrong with this cherry? And I was 21 years old. Like
you never had a cherry until you were 21?
I was like a real cherry. I had a maraschino cherry. I had a chocolate covered cherry. But I've never had I didn't have a real cherry until I lived at I stayed the summer at my buddy's house. I had a college degree.
Yeah.
Like, and the first time I had a cherry.
It's amazing
And
how dumb young people are.
yeah, but the
Me,
peach,
myself included.
yeah, the peach, man, the fuzz
You got
throws me so far off.
buddy, we gotta get you a box of Palisade peaches.
Yep,
They are you are gonna love them. They
yep.
are so you need a good peach. A bad
And
peach,
that's it.
terrible.
There's
Terrible.
I did a bad fuzzy peach, and it was like, I am not into this.
What do
This
you
is
think
not.
of, Honeydew?
I mean, pretty much leave it. I don't hate it. I'm not
Yeah,
saying I hate
I
it,
don't get it.
but
I think once ever I had, like, a really good Honeydew,
yeah,
but 100 times I've had not I mean, it
yeah.
tastes might as well be cardboard. It's just like, I don't know what's wrong with this fruit, but it's
I
not
like
good.
uh, I like a blueberry.
Oh,
Uh,
I love a blueberry. In
love a
fact,
good
it's
blueberry.
just today, I had too many blueberries. I have, like, an upset stomach because there's acid in the blueberries,
Yeah.
and I had probably, like, almost 2 cups of blueberries, which is too
Oh,
much.
that's a
There's
lot
too
of
many
blueberry.
blueberries.
Dude, I have a blueberry story.
Yeah,
It's a little touch and go there for a second. But I was in high school, and we played football, and two a
okay,
days are a thing in high school. And so you have two practices in one day during the summer. The first practice is mostly conditioning, and also probably partly psychological torture, and partly just like, are you toughen you up. It's basically like that. It's going to be hard. You're going to hate it, and you have to do it anyway, right? Like
okay,
that's the good part about high school football, is it does. Okay, you can go through a lot more than you think you can when you're 14 years old, and
yeah,
you do this other stuff. And I was in Colorado. We went up to not the Red Rocks amphitheater, but in the Red Rocks area, and there was this hill that's very, very steep. It's for mountain bikes, and it takes probably 40 seconds to run from the bottom to the top. So it's not this huge hill, but it is so steep that it is awful. Oh my goodness, painful. You just hate it. You're going to be as out of breath as you've ever been, and you have to do it again and again and again. Right? We're running up and down this hill all day long, and my buddy ate a bunch of blueberries for breakfast. Now I was smart enough not to eat breakfast, because it's coming up.
yeah.
This is not easy what we're doing. Hey, dude, have you ever seen somebody, regurgitate blueberries? You,
No,
you want to
gross.
call the ambulance, because it is awful. You're like, what is happening over here? It looks like blood is what's going on here. It is shocking, and you're like, this. He needs to stop running. But
Crazy.
maybe you'll see it soon. Maybe you'll see
Yeah,
it soon.
hopefully not. All right, let's wind this down. This episode comes out March 2nd. Uh,
Yeah.
by the way, timthecleancomic.com. Everybody check out Tim Ketchersid.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a big part of this episode. March 2nd, I have nothing until
Mm,
March 11th in Idaho Springs, Colorado with Renan Hirschberg. You can find tickets at gtowncomedy.com for
yeah.
that. And March 12th, back to the infamous Gypsum, Colorado, our
Mm,
triumphant return after 100 plus this time. We sold 3 tickets so far. Travel along with us on our journey. Hopefully, we sell another 97 or more and get into the triple digits. And yeah, what do you got coming up?
I'm going to the Wallace Theater in Johnson City, Tennessee. I don't know, but I'm
Okay,
headlining some cool show.
cool.
Yeah.
How big a theater?
I don't know. I don't
All
know.
right, let's talk about. I have some questions for you on the Patreon, which everybody's patreon.com/Mark and Jake.
But that
And I'm
is
going to talk.
on.
I'm
And
going
that's
to
on March 6th. So come
oh,
back March 6th for that.
March 6th, everybody. Get
Yeah.
those tickets at your website,
Yeah.
which is
BigJComedy.com.
bigjcomedy.com. I'm at markmasters.co if you want to reach out about anything. I just got a contact form request while we were taping this, so we'll see what that is. On the Patreon, I'm going to talk about financial stuff. I'm going to dish some numbers from Dallas. I'm going to talk about oh geez, I had it right at the tip of my tongue a second ago. Something we talked about that I was going to get into more. I'm going to think about it. It's a good one. So tune into this Patreon. I have a good topic to talk about
This
on
is
the
the one.
Patreon. We'll see you there, everybody.